Proton Saga was established in 1983 under the direction of the former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Since then, it was Malaysia's dominant car maker until the establishment of Perodua in 1993. Initially, the components of the car were entirely manufactured by Mitsubishi, but slowly local parts were being used as technologies were transferred and skills were gained. The 100,000th Proton Saga was produced in January 1989. This is a list of Proton car models listed in chronological order by the year of release of each of the respective cars. Proton is the Malaysian national car maker. Proton's entry into the automotive world has no doubt been phenomenal. However, it had also been Tun Dr. Mahathir's realization that more needed to be done to spur the industry to greater heights. The love for motorsports and a passion for fast cars is not enough without a high degree of involvement from the so-called backroom people, namely mechanics and engineers.
Ready. Set up.
Go! It's called drifting.
What do you mean, drift?
The cars are lighter. The tires are slick. When you drift, if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control.
It is here that an automotive training college has been set up to meet the demands of the automotive sector in Malaysia and complement Proton's 25-year history. Over to Anne for more.
Hi there, I'm Anne Edwards and you're watching Swot Watch. Now, the automotive industry is ever so vibrant right now in Malaysia. But question is, how far will it peak? The Automotive College, or TOC as they would like to be known, explores all possibilities. And alongside to explore this company is our reporter Nazira. Over to you, Naz.
When Adeline Fu came back to Malaysia from her studies in the United States in 2002, all she was aiming for was to provide education to those who need it. But little did she know that her noble ambition would lead to something totally out of her expertise: automotive education. A unique opportunity came her way, and the Automotive College was set up in 2005 as Malaysia's first academic institution specializing in the field of automotive technology and engineering.
TOC really was the vision of Adeline Fu some years ago, but when she came back to Malaysia from her studies in the United States, she had conceived this idea to do something really quite different that was not being done before. The vision of TOC fundamentally is to be a leader in automotive education, to develop professional individuals in the automotive sector.
Understanding the usual stereotype people have towards automotive technicians, or more commonly known as mechanics, TOC sees its function as an entity that is relevant to produce graduates that could go beyond just becoming a mechanic.
The misconception is that to work as a mechanic means that you work in a dark, oily, dirty workshop somewhere. What TOC is setting out to do, and indeed doing, and doing quite successfully, is to provide people with an education and a qualification that allows them to work pretty much in any environment that they might want to, but also to demand a higher salary than they might necessarily as an unskilled worker.
From 5 students and 10 members of the staff for its first intake, the Automotive College has grown through leaps and bounds by having close to 1,300 students and 119 staff currently. The college offers a number of courses spanning from the Sijil Kemahiran Malaysia program or SKM, Diploma in Automotive Technology or DAT, Diploma in Motorsports Technology DMS, and Diploma in Automotive Engineering. Optional external certificates and advanced diploma awarded by City and Guild to short courses organized from time to time. Besides having strong academic modules designed to meet the purpose of the college, TOC capitalizes on the strength of its staff from the management team as well as trainers and lecturers.
TOC's trainers are quite a large group of people. They come from both Malaysia and overseas, very qualified, highly driven, incredibly well turned out in how they do their work, very disciplined.
To ensure students are prepared to face the complex automotive world ahead, TOC has invested heavily in the latest technology-based training and equipment. These state-of-the-art educational facilities can be considered on par to those usually available at renowned automotive institutions in the United Kingdom and the United States.
We have, in fact, quite a large number of people whose daily roles is fundamentally about the students, whether it be recruiting them and counseling them as to what the right course might be for them, and a lot of time is spent with parents as well, to a large amount of human help.
As an institution that promotes not only the best of automotive education, the Automotive College sees the importance of striking a balance in the working environment for its staff. Every year, the Automotive College organizes an annual bowling tournament which sees its staff taking a break from their usual in-college routine to a weekend at the bowling alley.
We also provide a very healthy, very constructive working environment to all the staff. Our HR department do have a lot of HR initiative program which is supported by the CEO. For example, this afternoon we are having a bowling session at IOI Mall.
Actually, it's very fun because I've never been like this before. A new environment for me because actually I'm from background of Islamic studies. And then when we come to TOC, we spread to multi-races.
I think the environment is really good. Here I can find the environment is a very friendly environment because it's like all the races can join together, no matter it's in an event, official event, or during the normal coffee breaks, or when we work together.
With the college's strong network of approximately 1,000 venue partners to provide practical training and employment opportunities to its students and graduates, TOC continues to fulfill its promise to provide a lifetime career for its students.
We have a number of relationships with universities and so on overseas. Part of that is to be able to, well, partly to ensure that the quality of what we offer all the time is to the standards of international establishment. It's also to be able to have them help us.
With world-class automotive education modules, highly skilled trainers, awards and recognitions at its feet, the Automotive College has not only proven itself to be an institution capable of producing competent graduates in their respective fields, but also fly the Malaysian flag high in the world of automotive education.
Is this the right thing to do? Yeah. Am I doing it in a correct position?
Yes.
Alright, you've learned a thing or two about the Automotive College from the previous package. Now let's take a break, and while you're at that, I'm going to learn how to disassemble this automatic transaxle from Mr. Nick right here, who's also one of the trainers here at TOC, and we're going to return to the studio with Anne and our guest Adeline Fu right after this commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Well, thanks for staying with us. And in the studio, we are honored to have Adeline Fu, who is founder and CEO of TOC, or the Automotive College. And the Automotive College, or Automotive, is spelled with O. That's why it's TOC. Why O? Is there a reason?
Well, when we first started, we wanted to come up with a name that is self-explanatory. So it won't be called Adeline College, and then I would have to explain for half an hour what Adeline College would mean. So naturally, if we were to teach in automotive, we wanted to call it the Automotive College, say what we do. But if we had to spell automotive with an A-U-T-O, the acronym would be TAC, and then would be known as the Tic Tac College or something.
Okay.
So we didn't want that to happen, and we thought that it would be cool to be the talk of town. So we called ourselves the Automotive College, and spelled O in a peculiar way that is just particular to us. But it also could be in any language. I mean, it could be in German or in Bahasa, and you could pronounce OTO as auto. But that's...
So automotive it is.
Yes.
And when I said honored to have you on Swot Watch, it's because you are, or happen to be, the first woman CEO that we are interviewing right here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Edwards.
How do you feel?
Well,
being the founder, being the CEO of such a reputable college.
I'm very, very happy to be a part of Malaysian businesses and education, to be part of bringing up children of our younger generation, to be one day representing, you know, their passion and their families' businesses, not only in Malaysia, but, you know, in other countries. We've had many international students who then graduated and went back to their countries. So to have behind them an education that is from Malaysia makes me proud. But I think there are lots of, you know, female CEOs out there should get out more often.
Well, that's a good hint, actually. Okay, so your aim is to provide education and, of course, an educational institution. But why automotive? What is your aim here?
Well, I studied in the US for many years, and Malaysia has many things to be proud of, and I usually have to, you know, explain over and over again where Malaysia, the country, is, and it would always end up to be the country between Thailand and Singapore. But we have our own F1 track, and we have our own brand of vehicle. But very few people get to know this, and I think as Malaysians we have lots to be proud of. But that said, you know, all the people that works behind the scenes don't get noticed very much, and technicians particularly, I think they've always had this bad reputation of being uneducated and unskilled, and
that is the negative perception.
Yes,
right?
I mean, and can you imagine if you were growing up or in your adulthood, in your 20s, to be someone known to be uneducated, and when you become 30 and you have your own kids, and your kids would look at you, oh, my father is uneducated. And it is this vicious cycle that goes on from generation to generation, and it would, you know, kill kids' futures in front of them, and that is what I want to change.
So I'm looking at it as your aim would be to uplift, the status, and of course how people would look at the automotive industry and people who are putting it all together.
Yes, people spend their lives building the industry for us, and we should be thankful to them.
Would you say that this is one of your main challenges, or did you have other challenges that you had to go through in starting up the business?
Well, it was difficult. We started the conception of the business in 2002, and finally put our application into the Ministry of Higher Education in 2003. But we started hiring our own first staff in 2004. We only got our license in 2005, so it's 1 year of running without students and without income. Well, the challenges were not only as running as a business, but the concept itself was foreign to the ministry.
Yeah. People here especially will look at more of studies or even courses which is sort of professional. We would say like civil engineering, for example, medicine, those kind of important courses. Yeah. So do you see people changing their perception towards what you're offering, which is education in automotive?
I think so. I mean, we've been 7 years in the industry, and I see lots of changes in the perception of parents and students and the industry. In 2004, when we had put in our first advertisement, and we wanted to look for 50 students, only 10 students applied. And then we had to, beg parents to give us a chance.
Where are those 10 students right now?
It was a sponsored program by a motor company, so most of them are still working with the motor company, but grew with them. One of our students, I still keep in touch with him on Facebook, and he's been with the company since it started in 2007, and he's worked from building the workshop from ground up. And he's, training his own people now and hiring new apprentices from us. So, after so many years and seeing the graduates slowly move up management, and also seeing our own graduates graduating from degree programs and coming back to us and work with the college, I mean, we can see the full cycle now, and it's really exciting. Do you look at TOC as having fulfilled that niche in the market for automotive education? I mean, you are the pioneer, yeah? Do we have other universities and also colleges offering the same courses? There are lots of training institutions offering automotive, but I believe that TOC is offering at a standard that is compatible to European standards. We get visitors from Europe and the Americas all the time, and when they come here, they are very surprised that you would find this level of automotive training in Malaysia. And they would go back there and tell other people that and bring pictures with them, and are proud to say that they were part of TOC's growing history. So you have foreign students as well? Yes, yes, about 10% from all over the place. Oh, great. Okay, how many graduates has TOC produced so far? We've had 4 graduation ceremonies. About 800 of our graduates are out there, and 20 of which are in foreign countries. I mean, they were international students, so they went back to their original country. And so we have these 800 people spot all over the world as ambassadors of TOC, if you'd call it. How competitive are they in terms of their readiness to make it in this industry? I think they have a very, very bright future in front of them. When we first started, our first graduate's first job was 600 ringgit. Today, our graduate could command up to 6,000 ringgit as his first paying job. And that took like how many years? 7 years in the making. But then, TOC has a long, long way to go. I mean, we're just in light vehicles training now and motorsports. We hope to be expanding into other areas. The automotive industry is actually, if you start looking at it, has so many different sectors to specialize in. It's very, very big. I mean, everything that we have, came to us through some sort of transportation. I mean, the makeup we have, how we came to work today, everything needs to use some sort of transportation. Okay, which aspect do you think is most important in the automotive industry that has to be learned? Which aspect? Skill is one of it. Okay. At the end of the day, you're fixing something, you're doing something to the vehicle, so you have to be skillful in what you do. But attitude is the next well, the first and foremost, most important thing. I mean, you can have all the skills in the world, but technology changes every second. So if your attitude is not something, is not that you would want to learn all the time and think that, oh, I'm the best already, then you'd be left behind the next second.
We'll take a short break, Adeline, and of course after this we'll follow Naz over to the Automotive College to talk to some of the students and also lecturers who have made it in this industry. Stay with us on Swot Watch. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to SWOT Diaries. My name is Nazira Ash'ari. Alan Cabiles, 36-year-old automotive expert from Manila, Philippines. He came to Malaysia back in 2005 to become a trainer at the Automotive College and now holds the position as the head of training here at TOC. Pritam, 30-year-old from Tanzania, was a former rally driver back in his homeland. He is currently finishing his final semester in Diploma in Automotive Technology. In this segment, we will unravel the stories behind these two great personalities, Alan and Pritam, as we get up close and personal with these great personalities of TOC.
Hailing from the Philippines, Alan Cabiles began his career at TOC as an automotive trainer. He later climbed the ladder to spearhead the college's training department. An outgoing and friendly man, we couldn't miss the opportunity to meet up with Alan.
Actually, this is very accident because I am not supposed to go to Malaysia because during that time, I already have an offer in Saudi. Malaysia is near to my home country, so I chose Malaysia, and fortunately, they were able to choose me. Everything is accidental because I don't like automotive in the first place. My parents says, why don't you try automotive first and then see if you will be interested to continue with it or not. So I tried, I followed my parents' advice, and then automotive seems quite interesting. I was working last time in the government, way back in our home country, and then I'm also conducting training both in industry and in training institution.
As head of training, Alan's job scope includes overseeing the day-to-day activities at the college, besides leading the curriculum development of the Automotive College. He is also responsible for the overall course modules of each program offered at TOC.
So the students are doing, if you can see, they are opening each line. So it means they are doing power balance of the engine. Yeah.
So you started in 2005.
Yeah.
As a trainer.
Yes.
How does you progress from a trainer to head of training?
Yeah, I started for my first 2 years. I started as a trainer, and then after that, I become a lead trainer. My leadership and the way I talk, because when I talk of automotive, I know exactly what I'm saying.
Alan admits his biggest challenge as a trainer at TOC is having to deal with teenage students who come from all walks of life and having to conform to the international environment at the college.
Always an honor if you teach a student and now he is now your colleague. First thing first, you have to be passionate, because without passion, automotive is a heavy job. So without having that kind of passion in working in a car, you will never be a successful person in automotive. You must be dedicated. You must be dedicated in everything you are doing. You must have the interest to do that. Otherwise, passion alone will not work, and dedication will not work without the interest.
From a trainer, we now move on to one of TOC's brightest students, Pritam Purushottamlal Gandamal.
My name is Pritam Purushottamlal Gandamal. I'm 30 years old. I've come from Tanzania, a small town called Arusha. Before coming to TOC, I used to help my dad at his workshop. So I had basic, you can say basic mechanical knowledge.
A high cost for higher education in Europe and the United States resulted in Pritam choosing Malaysia for its affordable tuition fees. It all started with a quick search on Google where he stumbled upon TOC and he knew where his destiny was. It was love at a first sight.
I'm doing a diploma in automotive technology.
Tell me more about that.
Basically, almost everything about a car, everything. When you study, you actually know the working principle of a vehicle, of every part, the component, how it works, how it's put together, what it can do, what it cannot do. There are a few, but I'd highly give credit to Mr. Jonel. He's done EFI, electronic fuel injections. I used to be a rally driver back home. I've won the national championship. I built my own car, so always thought of getting back to it and getting better. I have to develop the family business, and I think I really need to train people back home. I really feel responsible because nothing comes for free there. There is no technology back home, and a lot of people in my country cannot afford college. Actually, they don't know what is college.
For Pritam, TOC's world-class environment is in itself the biggest motivating factor.
The environment, the study environment was fantastic. You get motivated because every day you're learning. The environment, the surroundings, the equipment, the cars, the lecturers, the way they teach. If you're joining TOC, look forward to it. It's been a fantastic experience for me, and I've gained so much from it. I think it's a great college.
A lot of people might not know that the founder and CEO of the Automotive College, Adeline Fu, was a trained opera singer. From opera to automotive education, how did it all happen for this petite and outgoing lady of TOC? All of this and more as we return to the studio right after this commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
And that was a short story, of course, about how automotive education has actually improved a lot of people in terms of making it out there in the working world and also contributing to the automotive industry. In the studio with us, Adeline Fu, who is founder and CEO of TOC, this great college, which has churned out a lot of people for the industry, some of the renowned people. Perhaps you can name a few. Are there people also out there who are heading companies and in a section which is contributing to this industry?
Well, not yet. We're still very young. Our oldest graduate is only 4 years in the industry, and but I'm sure that they will move up the ladder pretty quickly. I mean, we have some of our students, Indonesian students, for example. We just came back from a roadshow from there, and they graduated from us about 2 years ago, and they've started their own business and doing very well. They're earning 20,000 ringgit a month. Yes, more than myself.
So you wouldn't mind if I ask you how much, or in terms of business-wise, yeah? We've been talking a lot about the education that you're providing for those interested in automotive industry, and business-wise, how are you doing?
We're doing okay. Over the years, when we first started in 2004, it took us about 3 years to get out of the red. And our first profit of $600 was in 2007.
What was your startup?
We used about 5 million at the beginning when we first started, not just for equipment and you know, the space that we had to have in renovation to make sure that it is safe for our students to do their practical training in. Our workshops are all air conditioned, and therefore we'd have to install it with exhaust extraction system, for example.
Right.
And that went away pretty quickly with the operations cost. With no income, obviously. So the income started to come in after we got our license.
Which was how many years after you started?
About 2 years after we put it in, put the application in. So we survived on other things, opening up classes, short courses for drivers, short courses for ladies, that we can do our own, repair our own vehicle.
And on that note, as a female in this field, how do you fit in?
A lot of people look at this as an automotive field. I look at it as an education field. And I think it's quite natural for females or mothers at home to be the chief educator officer. And that is what I am.
And in terms of providing that sort of education, you did not necessarily major in automotive.
No, I did not.
She did a completely different course in LA, is that right?
Yes, I majored in Chinese opera.
Chinese opera. And I understand you sing very well. You sang in one of our clips for Swot Watch.
Yes, I like to do it. Well, a lot of us, I'm sure 100% of us like to sing. It's just the degree of competency, I suppose.
We'll try to get a bit out of you later on. But for now, taking a look at the evolution, of the latest technology in automotive, how do you keep up with the trend? How do you keep up with that momentum? And does TOC actually provide for all that?
Although TOC is based in Malaysia, we mustn't forget that cars come from all over the world.
All over the world,
and therefore, you're right, we have to keep up. And every year, a few times a year, I make sure that I will go to all the different countries offering training or conventions or seminars to keep up with automotive technology or with motorsports technology or with training technology. I've so far been to...
So you travel a lot?
Yes, Germany, the US, France, I've said Germany.
Where would you go
UK.
to actually be on track? Be on track with what's happening in the industry? Where would you go? Where would you look?
Well, first of all, our education partners are really helpful. The universities are into a lot of research, and therefore would be first-hand as to what happens in the industry and the technology and research of such. And as far as training aids are concerned, you know, I would see what they offer to the students. But then attending conventions and and fairs it's really very interesting because, you know, in one place you get to see 1,000 businesses who specialize in whether it's components or equipment or training methodologies. And you get to see what people has developed, and you get to adopt all these things back to Malaysia and then spread the information, spread the technology for our students to bring back out to where they come from.
Yeah, but coming home here, how well connected would you consider TOC with the Malaysian automotive industry? I understand that you had Alex Young, I'm saying had because he's no longer the ambassador of TOC. But he was chosen in the first place.
Yes, he was our ambassador in 2009 for a one-year contract.
Why Alex Young?
Well, he is the first and only Malaysian who has made it all the way to Formula One, and that's something to be very, very proud of, to put Malaysia on the map of well, the pinnacle of motorsports, I suppose. And in 2009, that's when we launched our diploma in motorsports. And if we were to attract the new generation to want to take up something, they have to have something to look up to, someone to look up to. It's to give them a vision of what they could be one day themselves, or one day working in an industry that they could feel so proud of.
So how do you stay well connected with the main players in the automotive industry?
To ensure that we do what we're supposed to do at our best. At the end of the day, all the marketing or, you know, all the colors and vibrancy of it is meaningless if the products that we actually produce, our students, is not as competent as we shout them to be. So, you know, sooner or later, if our technicians are the best that they can be out there, people would want to be with our students and hire our students.
Best technicians with high income and changing the perception that mechanics are just, uneducated, like what you said earlier. Okay, on a lighter note, we need to move on to a lighter note, of course. I heard you're a Harry Potter fan. Yeah.
Yes.
How serious are you?
Not so serious. I think that is the beauty of Harry Potter. When the first movie came out, we're just kids again. We go into the cinema and we come out shouting chants and holding pencils as our wands. It's beautiful.
Which edition do you like best?
I like the first one. I think it's just it just brings out the kid in you and realize all these imaginations of going through walls, you know, flying on brooms and having owls. It's wonderful feeling. I think as adults sometimes we lose it, and we become so adult that we forget that being a kid is when magic will happen.
Great, and we're all kids actually at the end of the day. Yeah, we all aspire to be in that fairyland. And of course this sets the tone, for our next package coming back from right after the break. Thank you so much, Adeline, for joining us in the studio. We'll have Naz, of course, on a lighter note with her CEO trivia package. Back to Naz right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is a story of a company that thrust an agriculturally rich nation into the future. As a young country, we had done well for ourselves. But is well good enough, one man dared to ask. His name? Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad.
Pada masa itu, sebenarnya ekonomi negara tidak begitu baik. Tapi saya yakin dia akan dapat dipulih semula.
He thought in order to consider ourselves truly successful, we couldn't just be dependent on our natural resources. The situation called for a new way of thinking, one that will transform Malaysia into an industrialized nation. So, with a clear plan and vision, along with a sense of fearlessness, he came up with an audacious idea to produce our very own car.
Automotive industry ini boleh memainkan peranan yang besar kerana kita kekurangan dalam bidang engineering.
But his intention encountered some resistance. Many Malaysians, including his own cabinet, were skeptical.
Saya dapati kebanyakan orang tidak ada confidence. Mereka selalu berpendapat orang lain boleh buat, kita tak boleh buat.
But never easily disheartened or discouraged, Dr. M pushed on. After toiling for 6 hard years, the dream that everyone thought was impossible became a reality in 1985.
Saya dapat main last lap ni bukan sekali, banyak kali. Banyak kali projek-projek yang dikatakan tak boleh berjaya, akhirnya dia berjaya juga.
With the arrival of Proton Saga, Malaysia with great pride announced to the world, we have arrived.
Saya merasa gembira karena saya dapat membawa kereta Proton. Dan di mana-mana saya pergi, saya lihat orang lain angkat tangan begitu.
No more a third world nation, no longer a colonial outpost, but Malaysia, a fully fledged industrialized nation. The Proton Saga was well received. Even the skeptics couldn't resist it. Proton knew they had to press on, to work with new technology, to come out with new designs, to venture even further.
Kami mengambil semua ini secara positif supaya kami dapat mempertingkatkan lagi kualiti dan prestasi produk dan syarikat kami dari masa ke semasa.
This attitude and approach inevitably led to new models, each one more outstanding than the previous. Sleek, sporty, luxurious, practical, and the best part, affordable. Along with these cars came a slew of awards. Greater acceptance followed not long after as well. Proton cars began picking up fans the world over.
Proton terpaksa mengeluarkan jumlah kereta yang lebih besar. Jadi, memandangkan kepada pasaran domestik yang begitu terhad, Proton terpaksa menembusi pasaran ekspor.
But Proton was not satisfied. It didn't just want to produce ordinary cars. It wanted to make cars that could hold their own against the more established names. So in 1996, in its quest to grow further, Proton bought an exceptionally established one, Lotus. Lotus had a reputation of producing high-performance cars with a racing heritage. It was the pride of the British, and now it was Malaysian.
Pertama ialah dari segi penjanamaan yang terkenal, iaitu Lotus. Ya, yang kedua ialah dari segi keupayaan kejuruteraan. Jadi sudah tentunya banyak yang boleh diperolehi oleh pihak Proton dalam aspek kejuruteraan ini.
This acquisition was a shrewd business move by Proton. By joining forces with Lotus, Proton could tap into their knowledge and technology and fast forward the production of even better cars. This partnership gave birth to many innovations, one being the Campro engine, a powerhouse that was conceptualized, developed and realized by our very own Proton engineers. Another innovation is the Lotus ride and handling feature. It promises a smooth drive every time and complete control in tight corners and challenging road conditions. With these innovations came even better performing and safer cars with looks to match. It is a testament to how far we have progressed in just 25 years.
25 tahun ini adalah satu perjalanan yang jauh. Kita harus ada perasaan kebanggaan for whatever the company has achieved. How many countries can claim that they have the ability to do that? And Malaysia is one of those countries. Nobody gave a chance. But today, after 25 years, we are still relevant.
What started out as an audacious idea is now a reality. A reality that is showing no signs of slowing down.
25 tahun ini, where we are today tidak akan tercapai kalau tidak ada sokongan yang padu daripada 10,000 orang tenaga pekerja Proton yang sedia ada. We are working for a national car company. This is a national car company that mempunyai tanggungjawab yang besar. And we have the whole 28 million people in Malaysia is wanting for us to succeed.
Hi, I'm Adeline. We'd like to wish everyone selamat berpuasa.